I'm not
That's
sure.
the only time I ever see that sport is at the intro of Miami Vice.
Oh, do they have that in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Guy,
Okay,
like,
there's.
throws in slow-mo.
Oh, okay. Well, there's an hour of just a pig walking in Minecraft. So
That's perfect.
Netflix. I've found my shows.
That's what
Like,
it
we
is.
don't even need to do a
We've
show.
got all the
anymore.
best shows that are all on Netflix.
I'm going to give a review of that episode. That's how we're going to work that
Nice.
out. Napflix. It's a thing. All right. Looks like we are live. Hello. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly entertainment podcast where we talk about everything in the world of entertainment that is going on, even if it's Napflix and all the stuff that's
I'm
happening.
ASMRing so hard right now.
That's such an uncomfortable phrase. All right, so we have a lot of stuff that we're going to get to.
All right.
And we are broadcasting live on Facebook
Oh, it's live.
and YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, we're live. I just
Gotcha.
forgot to tell you that part.
Yes.
And we want to get your opinions, your thoughts on what it is that, and on everything that we're going to be talking about. We've got stuff from Star Wars news. We're going to talk about a bunch of new movies that are coming out. We've got some Game of Thrones news. Lots of stuff to cover. But one of the things we wanted to talk about at the beginning is there are so many different television platforms and shows and ways to watch to get content now. I mean, everybody's getting into the game. It's kind of hard to watch everything and know what all is going on.
Yes, and there are particularly this month, I think, a lot of new shows that are very good coming out. So
Yeah, there really are. And
it's been fun.
I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And so our question that we put out was, what is your favorite new television series that
Yes.
you are watching? Like, we want some ideas. We want to know what you're watching. Maybe we're watching already. Maybe we're missing something. And just to hear what your thoughts are on that. Okay, William says MASH. Great new show.
Oh, I've heard
MASH.
about this.
All right.
Very revolutionary.
Peter's saying The Expanse. I love The Expanse. That I've watched. I think I'm completely caught up. Unless the third season is airing right now. I'm caught up on the first two seasons.
Yeah, you're a big fan of that one.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely like The Expanse. I like pretty much anything. If it has space in it,
Yeah, it's a cool premise.
I'll probably be a go for it. But yeah, we want to get your opinions on that as we go through the show. And Ryan's going to kind of give a review of some shows that he's watching right now.
Yes.
And so we can determine if we need to start watching them.
Some that are highly rated and some that are not as highly rated.
Not so much. Christian says Ozark. Ozark is great.
I got to
finished
call
that
it.
too.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ozark yet, but I got to call it for the Deuce right now, just based on the pilot. It's one of the best dramas I've seen in years. It's pretty great.
That good?
It's right up there, yeah. It's that good.
Okay.
As far as just the execution of it, the writing, in fact, some of it went a little bit over my head, but not in an elitist way.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty beautiful in its grittiness, the way they shot New York. But we'll get to that. Anyway,
Okay.
that's the one that I like.
So that'll be in Ryan's review
Yeah.
block that I just named. So Ryan's reviews.
Yeah.
You're on Between the Streets.
That's my other podcast.
Okay, so we're going to cover all of that stuff, but let us know, again, keep your comments coming in there as far as what shows and movies and television shows in particular, that you're watching. And why don't we do this, though? Before we get too far into that, let's go ahead and hit what's going on in the actual box office
Yes.
for movies, and then we'll come back to the television shows.
Well, we should say that it just broke a box office record. It is now the highest grossing stateside horror movie of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, $239 million was the number it just passed.
I am one of the people who
And
contributed to
you
that
do not
yesterday.
see horror movies doing that kind of thing very often. It's pretty impressive. So I'm going to go see it tonight. So that is definitely up there. If you haven't seen it, that's probably the one you should go see unless you don't like horror whatsoever. But
Yeah.
there are a bunch of new options this week.
Okay, so we're going to cover the box office, then get back to talking about the television series.
Yes.
So what's coming out?
So Kingsman, The Golden Circle.
Okay.
We've been waiting for this a long time. The original Kingsman was a surprise hit, sort of a new launch, a new kind of way to do a James Bond vibe with Colin Firth leading the show. And we thought this was going to be very good. It's not doing as well as we thought it was going to do. We thought the sequel was going to be amazing. Maybe the expectations were too high, but as Rick said, they couldn't pile the bodies high enough to make it
Really?
to make up to the original, which is always tough with a sequel.
Even though your boy Channing Tatum is in there.
Even though my boy Channing Tatum,
If you watch this show, you know
yeah.
Ryan loves Channing Tatum.
But yeah, so that one's not doing as well as we thought, but I still think it could be fun. You know it's going to have really good action in it.
Yeah.
You know, the first one had so much good action. And it has good stars. It does have Jeff Bridges as well, Julianne Moore in this one, Holly Berry's in it. So could be worth seeing, even if it's not the most amazing movie. And also the Lego Ninjago is out, which I love these Lego movies, so I'm probably still going to go see this, even though it's not getting as good of reviews as we had hoped. It's the first one in the Lego series that isn't just gangbusters with the critics.
Because the last one was a Lego Batman.
Lego Batman was huge. The original Lego, they loved it. But yeah, this is the third one, and not getting as good reviews. Again, I kind of think that this one will still be fun for people who like these shows. I don't think these movies, so I don't think it's going to be a total bomb. But it's not doing as well as we thought either. Both of those are around the 50% line, so it's kind of split on whether they're worth it.
I wonder if it's just the concept of Ninjago is that's a little bit deeper into Lego.
Yeah, and it's like
Batman or just a plain old
It's
Lego
definitely
movie.
its own kind of thing, and I've never watched the series or anything, but it does look fun. It's got like monsters, and it looks like it's going to have a lot of action. It'll probably be good eye candy either way.
Okay.
But then there's a couple of more for those with a more sophisticated palate. We've got Stronger, which is getting really great reviews, and that's sort of that Jake Gyllenhaal, Oscar contending type of role that he likes to do, where he is playing. He's playing, I think it's Jeffrey Bauman, who was injured in the Boston Marathon pretty badly. I think he lost both his legs, and it's kind of a, that human will type of story.
Yeah, so
and
this is
it
a
looks
true
pretty,
story.
Yeah, it's a true story, and it looks like it's really well acted. Tatiana Maslany is in it, and she's great. So it's fun to see her in like a big, she's been sort of under the radar doing her Orphan Black show on Amazon. So and it's always gotten the critics, but it never has really pulled the audiences. So it's good to see her on a bigger platform.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Right. And then we have one more, which is Battle of the Sexes, and this kind of looks fun. This is also getting really good reviews. It's about the Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs tennis match that was sort of at the epoch of the whole like women's movement, and there was like all this other stuff going on, and he was boasting that he could, even in his old age, beat Billie Jean King, and there's a lot of backstory to that. They were both sort of dealing with other things in their personal life, and it's Emma Stone and Steve Carell, so it should be really fun.
That's just the cast right there. That should be.
So there's a lot of good options this week. It's maybe not as gangbusters with the critics as we thought for the two big blockbuster films, but I think they'll all probably be worth your money.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's different than what we've had for the rest of this summer.
Yeah, it's been so rough that it's like even though they're not getting the best reviews, it's like there's still some stuff to see.
And there's things.
Exactly.
Movies. All right. Well, let's. Should we hop back to talking about the television shows? We'll
sure.
Do the GOT thing after that.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing a bunch of comments coming in of new television shows.
All right. What do we got?
This was our question that we put out at the top of the show because I want to know what I should be watching. I'm kind of in between series right now. So
I kind of watched
start a new one.
Yeah, which is why I sort of jumped into this new block of stuff that just kind of came out.
Which is it's perfect timing because there's so many coming out. Tyrone says Power, and I'm not actually familiar with that.
That's
show.
the 50 Cent series on Stars, which I haven't ever checked out because I don't have Stars.
That's one problem.
But I probably should.
Yeah, but Tyrone, is it good? Obviously, it must be if you're watching it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good.
Larry says the new season of American Horror Story, which I do need to start that. It'll be an interesting one just because it's based on so much reality this time.
Right.
Kind of. I mean, I'm sure it goes off pretty quickly.
Based around the elections and stuff.
Yeah, based around the election. So American Horror Story.
So the three that I am picking are all brand new series.
Okay.
The three that I kind of tested out. And the first one is The Deuce, which we've talked about. For those who don't know, it's from the creators of The Wire. David Simon and George Pelecanos. I'm not sure how you say that. But anyway, those guys are really slick writers, really intelligent writers, and you can just feel it from the get-go in this thing. First of all, it's set in the 70s, sort of during the porn movement.
Yeah, in New York, too,
in New York, in gritty 70s, crime-filled, hooker-laden New York.
Yeah.
And it starts out with
Square.
two, I don't want to give too much away, but it starts out with two pimps having a conversation at the bus station, and it just kind of goes from there. But, James Franco is pretty incredible in this as two twins. Again, I've only seen the pilot. But it's an hour and a half.
It's already enough.
It's almost like a movie, yeah, and it's just so beautiful. Michelle McLaren, who does a lot of good stuff for HBO, she does Westworld and Game of Thrones, and she also did some Breaking Bad stuff. As far as a director,
that's a pretty good resume.
So she did the pilot, and they rebuilt Times Square. somewhere in New
Wow.
York. They built a bunch of like the marquee stuff and everything, so it feels real. The acting's great. Sort of just the vibe is very rich in its period.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun. That is probably, I would say, like sort of the marquee show right now that everyone should probably see.
So that's The Deuce on HBO. I mean, just David Simon alone, because of The Wire, I will absolutely watch this.
Everyone, I should say, who is of age to watch rated R content, because it does have a lot of nakedness in it as well.
A lot of nudity.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
There's
Good to know.
hookers. Yes. Things like this. Yeah, when you hear that it's about porn, that's probably a good indication of what who should be watching it. So the next one I saw.
Oh, real quick. Speaking of Westworld, Nicola says Westworld. That I must be catching up on that. That's the new series that they're watching. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up.
New, I wouldn't say, but sure.
But maybe new to that in the last year.
Yeah.
So
the other new one, another new one I saw was American Vandal. This is also a very big one with the critics. It's really strange because it's a satire of the making a murderer type and the serial type of narrative.
Okay, so because I was wondering about this because it's showing up on my Netflix feed and I've heard some people watching it.
It's starting to get more and more
satire.
steam. It is satire. It's not real, but it feels real. The dialogue is so well written that it feels like a real documentary.
Okay.
The premise is there's this dumb guy at school that's the class clown, always screwing around, smoking weed on the breaks and skipping school and stuff. And his big thing is drawing dicks.
So that's what he does.
Yeah, to be blunt about it. And there's a big crime, like $100,000 worth of vandalizing is going down, and it's all dicks on cars. And he is immediately the suspect. He's expelled for it, and then so it's all high school kids trying to figure out this thing. There's one kid played by Tyler Alvarez who is sort of the serial guy or whatever you want to say. Like he's the narrator. He's the guy like chasing down the leads. And you would think that they could not propel this thing for the entire series, but I'm 4 episodes in and I'm totally hooked. Like if I could by myself, I would just watch it all the way through. It's really addictive. It's funny. It's pretty well acted. And yeah, give that first episode a try. By the time you get to the bottom to the end of it, I almost guarantee you'll be clicking for the next episode.
How many episodes are there? Do you know?
I think there's 10 or 13. 10, you know how that usually goes.
Yeah.
I think it might be 13.
Okay. The fact that they can push it to that many episodes on this, too.
I know. On like a vandalizing.
Yeah.
But, his life is kind of in the balance because he can't go to college now and all this. So there is like some drama to be had with this silly like vandalizing crime. So,
awesome.
But yeah, really good one. And then I watched The Orville, which is just getting shredded.
And this is what, so I'm seeing a lot of comments coming through here as far as, what new television series are you watching? And yeah, Wayne, Rodney, The Orville. Like a bunch of people are talking about this one. And
yeah, I mean, it's getting shredded by the critics, but I checked it out and, there were some bumpy moments, but I really quite enjoyed this thing.
So I've seen mixed reviews by just friends on Facebook, I can say. Sometimes I tested by that just to see what people like. And I would say more people like it than don't.
It's actually got a really good, on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a really good audience score. I just wanted to check it out because I like this stuff and I like Seth MacFarlane. I think he's funny. I don't really watch Family Guy that much anymore, but let's not pretend it wasn't really, really funny for many, many seasons.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about the critics, they kind of love to hate on him. Like, I thought I think it was the Emmys, I thought his Emmys hosting, or maybe it was it the Oscars?
I don't remember which one it was.
Either way, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was funny. I mean, he really pushed the envelope, and people didn't like it, but I thought it was funny. So it might depend on your humor.
But also, I mean, he has spent his career just tearing people apart on Family Guy. So maybe
screwing with people.
Maybe people have a little bit of a resentment when it comes to that.
But my opinion on the show is that it is a hybrid, basically, of Star Trek Next Generation. It really has that vibe. It even has sort of a 90s score to it. And the other pieces that I kind of feel like are in there is Galaxy Quest, which is a satire.
Which Galaxy Quest
of
is
Star Trek.
Fantastic.
And there's some Family Guy thrown in there. It's this weird hybrid. And as Seth was saying I think he was on Seth Meyers, and he was saying we're trying something new. It's sort of a strange thing. And it is. Like, as soon as I started watching it, I was like, this is a weird flavor. Like, I've never tried this before. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it gets a little weird with like the Family Guy jokes that jump in the middle. But
because they do have that kind of thing.
It rides this weird line where they attempt to be sincere, but they kind of bring the comedy in. There's sort of like an office feel to the ship where people are making jokes to each other like they would at an office.
Okay.
So they tried it. One of the things he also said is he likes the idea of really cool sci-fi that's sort of shown as being mundane. Because if you were living in this time, it wouldn't be that cool to you.
Stuff that happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, he the first thing he does is come in on a flying car, and he's just like, ugh, another day at work in my flying car, He's,
I mean, that does make sense.
Yeah.
So ordinary life.
Exactly. And, there's some funny hijinks. Like he gets, they tell it right in the trailer, but he gets paired up with his ex-wife as his first officer. But I feel like the world building is really good here, and if they can sort of figure out that balance between the dumb jokes that work and those that don't, and how earnest they want to be, I honestly feel like this could be a really good series. In fact, from what we've seen of the new Star Trek so far, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this show could possibly be better than what I think that show is going to
Discovery
be. I have no idea what Discovery is going to be like, but the world building alone in this already, just after having seen one episode, was pretty impressive.
Okay.
So I really liked it. I still think it's got problems. The biggest thing the critics have been saying is that, it's uneven, and I will give them that.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not uneven enough to not really enjoy it as far as I was concerned.
All right. That's solid.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
dug
give it a
it.
shot because, I like all those things. I like Star Trek. I like Galaxy Quest and Family Guy. So if it's the mix, all right. All right.
I enjoyed it.
Let's give it a shot. So the Orville, and that's obviously a lot of people tuning in are.
I'm surprised.
boat.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm surprised at how bad it's getting from the critics and how many people seem to be enjoying it. So, go watch it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Billions. People are bringing up Billions, and
I've seen a little bit of Billions too. I've enjoyed that as well. Yeah.
There's a couple of people in here commenting about Billions. And I need to, or maybe it was just one person who's bringing it up again. Greg is bringing it up again.
Billions is good too. It's well written.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. MacGyver. I have not watched the new MacGyver. I don't know if you're talking about the old MacGyver. I would watch that. I'm not watching the new one.
I'm pretty sure the new MacGyver is canceled, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that was very good.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to some movie news.
One funny thing about that new MacGyver is we interviewed those guys, and the two main actors, and they were like, "What's your favorite MacGyver episode?"
They've never seen it.
They have never seen it. Like, they had no answer. They're like, where the guy makes the thing? Like, it was so obvious they had never seen the original MacGyver.
If you get that gig where you are that person, do just a
I mean,
little
maybe
bit
they
of research.
made them watch it and they just didn't have a favorite and they hated it, but it was like...
I mean, you don't have to watch the whole series.
They
but
were
you watch
stuck. It was like they didn't expect the question to come up.
I don't know.
I mean, I've pretty much watched every MacGyver, I think.
Wow.
So
I forgot one thing before we move on to some movie news. More television news. Game of Thrones. In case you didn't know, you've probably seen some reports that they are working on prequels. There will be a prequel of some kind. And we did get a little more information about it. I guess they're writing 5 different ones right now. And George R.R. Martin actually did an interview and talked about it and said that it's not going to have any character that's currently in the series. It doesn't sound like will be in it. They're not going to tell the story of Dunk and Egg, which if you know that story, that's the Targaryen. Then I forget his other name, but you would know that if you're a Game of Thrones fan. So it's not going to be Dunk and Egg. It's not going to be Robert's Rebellion because they're not going to have the same people back. So it's going to be something completely different, probably set way in the past. And George R.R. Martin said, yeah, it's going to be something that you haven't seen before.
I don't care about this. Is that a problem?
Tell us how you
5
feel.
prequels?
No, he said only one of them's probably going to get made.
So, okay.
1 to 2 maybe.
So they've got 5
but they're working
choices.
Yes.
And they're narrowing it down.
Then they will narrow it down.
Okay. Well, I may watch one of these prequels.
Did say, yeah, because he's like, I know how this works. We're not going to be able to get all 5. But
I mean,
I think he's
frankly,
shooting for 1 or 2.
I would just love to close this one out. And, I mean,
And
I
just leave
really
it?
like Game of Thrones, but I want it to come to a conclusion so
Yeah.
I can stamp it, put it in my library of stuff I've seen.
There it is.
I mean, we've just shown there's way too much good TV out there to just keep mining the same story, the same idea. I just, maybe it'll be amazing and I'll get blown away. Like, Better Call Saul was fantastic.
It is. Yeah.
But they inked Breaking Bad. They gave it a great finish. They waited a year, and then they came out with something really great that became its own thing very quickly. And maybe they can do that with Game of Thrones, but
You don't
I'm
think so?
hesitant about this. I wouldn't even say I don't think so, but I'm a little hesitant about this, especially that they're shopping 5 of them around.
I am curious what people think. Would you be interested in a Game of Thrones prequel, or is enough enough? Are you on board with Ryan here, where it's just?
I mean, we still have to wait 2 years to see the end of the main show.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they are milking this for
So
quite a while.
when is this prequel going to come out? Like 2022?
Basically, they're saying for the rest of our lives, there's going to be something in Game of Thrones.
Sounds
That's
about right.
probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then they'll get into movies, probably. But we'll see. Let's get back to some other.
Let's do that.
Let's go to some movie news that we found out this week. And speaking of things being brought back, Terminator will never die. And now we've just received word that not only is Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back in the next Terminator movie,
Yeah.
but also Linda Hamilton. Somehow, because I believe. Did she die? I don't remember. Maybe she didn't die.
No, she never died, but she doesn't look like that anymore either.
No,
For
I know.
those
I
who
pulled
are
the old
looking at the image.
I pulled the old
Because a lot of people have been saying that she's a little bit like, I don't know, that it's going to be hard to put him. I mean, Arnold's so old too.
They're both so old.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I guess this is going to be Linda Hamilton is coming back.
James Cameron's producing, and the
Yes.
idea is this is going to be the sanctioned James Cameron sequel to the original.
So we throw out all the other ones.
Yeah, well, they all sucked.
You know,
3,
yeah.
4, and 5 were terrible.
See, I've even lost track of how many there were.
Well, that's why I put Terminator 8 in the headline. Because the idea is if this one works and it's going to be the officially James Cameron sanctioned sequel to Terminator 2,
Yeah.
then there will be 2 more in what they're calling a planned trilogy. I am
me a
so
headache.
sick of Terminator, dude.
How much longer can Arnold Schwarzenegger play?
And
Terminator?
T2 was
He's
like one of my
70.
favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So like it's just sort of mining that as well. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear it. And speaking of things that I'm sick of, Jamie Lee Curtis is returning to Halloween.
Yeah. So
Shouldn't there be a law against like how many times you can come back to a franchise?
Well, and that's the thing
just-
with the
it's
Halloween
ridiculous.
franchise. So that's from that. So there, if you didn't get that, Terminator coming back for 3 more movies,
Possibly, we'll see.
with Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis now returning for Halloween 11 billion, whatever one this is, and it is John Carpenter returning to it. So
He's executive producing, though. It's not like, I mean,
Yeah.
that could mean a lot of things. That doesn't mean he's going to be getting down and dirty and crafting the movie.
but he's put his stamp on it, kind of.
Yeah, and I love John Carpenter, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but his stamp doesn't mean as much today as it used to in the 80s.
True.
Let's just be honest.
Well, the writers for the new Halloween movie are going to be Danny McBride, which I was surprised, and David Gordon Green.
And
who
he's
is
a
his-
huge, McBride is a huge horror guy.
Well, then maybe that'll work well because those two together, Eastbound and Down, I guess that was his writing partner on that. So Halloween, it's coming out to 2018, I think is what they're targeting for this one. So I'm sure around Halloween next year is when this will come. But yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is returning. That's what I was thinking. She's the one that she died, right? I don't know. There's so many Halloween movies I don't remember.
Well, there's Halloween H2O, which
Okay.
if you haven't seen that, you should, just to like get it in your memory banks of the most horrible horror sequels ever created. It's
Halloween
freaking
H2O.
awful.
Okay.
I think it was PG-13, but don't quote me on that.
All right.
It's terrible.
Well, there we go. Halloween coming back. Let's get on to something else. We'll get on to one more thing, and then I want to talk about The Punisher because I'm really excited
Yes.
about that. One final thing we did in this movie block here, though, we found out some more news about the Han Solo movie, the Han Solo movie, which still it doesn't really have a title. Coming out May 25th, 2018. You would think they'd give it a title
I
already.
think you just gave it the title.
Han Solo movie.
Yes.
Which is the prequel for Han Solo. Now it's been announced that Darth Vader will be having a cameo in the Han Solo movie. To me,
That's cool.
I think this is the worst sign of everything because one, I'm already hesitant about this Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
And I've got to say it like that every time. Like I think there's
Branding.
a real chance that this could tank. But the fact that you have to put Darth Vader in it as a cameo, it's overusing Darth Vader.
Well, because he was already in Rogue One. Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One, okay.
He
I
needed
get
to be in
that,
Yeah.
but he does not need to be in a Han Solo movie. I mean, and I think it's watering down Darth Vader, and it also means that this Han Solo movie, they're so hesitant about it, they've got to throw Darth Vader in there. Like,
They're also putting in-
There's Darth Vader, though.
We also
You know?
found out this week that they teased that they're going to have the Kessel Run in there, which is, one of
Yeah.
the most famous, quick, dropped, subtle lines in a movie that everybody, latched onto.
Yeah.
Because it did it in, 4 parsecs? I mean, that's pretty
I
good.
think I mean, I guess you have to do that.
Yeah,
if you're
I don't
doing
know.
this. that sign alone that they have to throw in Darth Vader to it. That's just gets. I'm just so hesitant about this thing.
Well, and we'll have to wait and see, and we'll have to wait
Maybe
and
they'll
see
nail it.
on
They're
the
not gonna-
Terminator stuff too. Just going back to that real quickly, I have been the biggest. I've been fighting for James Cameron and his 35 Avatar sequels because the guy, whenever he gets against the gun, he produces the best thing he's ever made, and it's happened time and time again. So it's one of those things where it's like, give him the benefit of the doubt. He deserves it. He's one of the greatest filmmakers of our time, and so I was really on board for that with Avatar. And then when the Terminator thing came out, I was just like, I can't give you any more any more leeway, man. But yeah, I understand. It's tough. Like, I think sometimes people need to stop making sequels. I guess that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
The Han Solo thing.
It's just going to keep happening, though.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. Well, a couple other television series being dropped in here. Lucifer, I've heard that's really good.
I've heard good things, too. I need to
and
check
Orville,
that out.
which we did talk about.
Wow,
and
everybody is down with the Orville.
everybody seems to like Orville.
All right.
Yeah. So obviously I need to start watching that.
Oh, it is the Orville, by
The
the way.
Orville.
Yes.
Okay. My bad. The Orville.
Yes.
The Ohio State University. All right. So
Nice. Football fans, anyway?
yep, get it. The Punisher is the one I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So November is when it's estimated to come out, although they haven't actually given it a date, but it's speculation that it's going to be pretty soon. It'll be before the end of the year. So The Punisher getting a standalone series. We finally got a full trailer, and shockingly, it looks really violent.
Really gritty. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, he's angry.
There's a lot of bullets. and
Punisher
stuff.
is pissed. So, but I actually,
Why are you so mad?
I love the Punisher as a character.
As we've talked about many times
Yes,
on this show.
I
For
have to
those who
bring
have
it up.
watched it, I love it as well.
Yeah. And I think John Bernthal is the best version of the Punisher we've ever seen on camera.
I agree.
The one thing we did learn from the trailer is that it looks like now there's some kind of a government conspiracy thing that he's fighting against, because he mentions, I believe he name drops like CIA, the Department of Defense, the
ASMR.
FBI, ASMR. He's fighting all of them.
Well, yeah, and we also know he's going to go to Mexico. It's going to be he's going to be all over the
He's
place.
all over, so he's definitely outside of New York.
Busting out of Hell's Kitchen for once, finally.
And and just shooting a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they do have Metallica's One is the background track for it for the trailer. I'm
It's a good one.
so excited for this thing.
Yeah.
It does look like it could be the most violent television show of all time, though. I mean,
They're really pushing it,
I
aren't
don't
they?
know what the body count is going to be in this thing, but just in the trailer alone, I couldn't even count how many.
It's a lot of violence.
It's a lot.
Yeah, as we were saying last time, I watched. You can watch that that moment where he is with all the guards in the prison cell, lock him in, and he kills about
Who knows?
I don't know 30 inmates.
I'm sure somebody's
So violent
Somebody has probably done a count out there of how many people died by the Punisher's
that he's
hands.
killed with his bare hands.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I bet there's a count of them.
yeah.
All right. One other thing I wanted to bring up just really quick, and this isn't too far. This is just kind of news that came out about a comic book series, is The Watchmen.
Yeah, very, very exciting.
Yeah. So The Watchmen, if you saw the movie was terrible.
I didn't think it was that bad. In fact,
It was just too slow.
Let's just say for Snyder, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But that's
The opening sequence is great.
that's what I really enjoy too.
Yeah.
I also have to say I was sort of completely new to Watchmen when I saw the movie.
And me too.
So that's probably why I didn't think it was so terrible. Because I don't think, from what I've heard, it does the original series justice, the original book justice.
That's right. And Riley, I think behind the scenes, you read the graphic novels, right? Yeah. So the graphic novels are
pretty
supposed to be
epic.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that's so great though that they have so much to work with. It seems like something like this is destined to be serialized, and
Yeah.
who better to do it than HBO?
Well, and on top of that, it's Damon Lindelof. And so Damon Lindelof did The Leftovers, was part of Lost. That gives me some good hope.
Yep.
Like, that's a really good sign of who could be behind this. So that's his series. He's bringing The Watchmen as a series to HBO sometime in the future. So that's what we found out about that. All right, we do have some trailers to get to of some new television series and movies here before we start wrapping up. So I know, Ryan, you are very excited about this next one that we're going to talk about.
I'm just a Wes Anderson dork.
You are a Wes Anderson fan. You are definitely.
Yeah,
And
I know
like
he.
it too.
I know he kind of only has one speed, and I know it all kind of feels the same. But this is a stop motion, and he's done one before. He did the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Adapted from the Roald Dahl book. I don't know. I'm excited about this.
Well, it's called Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, it looks really weird.
It's animation, or what would you call that?
It's stop motion animation. Yeah.
Stop motion animation. And it is definitely Wes Anderson-y. It takes place in Japan, and there's some kind of a dog epidemic, and all the dogs have to be sent to an island.
They ship all the dogs to a garbage island. And all of the lead characters are going to be talking dogs. And they have a ton of stars in this, as per usual. So, although I didn't see Jason Schwartzman's name, but it's the rest of the crew.
I'm sure it is.
I didn't see him in there.
Edward Norton's definitely.
Yeah, Ed Norton seems to be the star of this one. He's been kind of taking the lead on Wes Anderson movies lately.
Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton,
Sure.
Bryan Cranston. That's fairly new.
Yeah,
for
that'll
him,
be fun. I don't think he's done anything with them before.
Jeff Goldblum, Liev
course.
Schreiber, Yoko Ono. Harvey Keitel.
Isn't that interesting?
It is just a laundry list of stars.
Yeah.
Frances McDormand. Yeah, it's just a ton of voices that'll be a part of it. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, check out the trailer. If you're a Wes Anderson fan, I think it is right up your alley.
It should be said that my wife, who is a huge animation person, she works in animation, she said, I'm not sure about this. So we'll see how that goes. It's just a trailer.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, another series coming to Amazon, and this is a long-running character, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. There's been a lot of versions of Jack Ryan in various movies throughout the years, and they're actually calling this Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan to differentiate from the movie
Great name.
Jack Ryan. And so, which was Chris Pine, I think, was in the movie. In this television series, which is going to be, like I said, on Amazon, it is being produced by Michael Bay. And it's going to star John Krasinski from The Office.
Okay.
I have a hard time seeing John Krasinski as an action star.
Well, he was in that sort of Zero Dark 30-esque movie from Michael Bay. I can't remember what it was called, but he was an action guy in that.
Yeah.
So I never saw it.
Well, there you go. You're going to get him as...
Can we, you know what we should have asked for the question this week is, can you name every Jack Ryan from film and television? So let's see. It started with Alec Baldwin. Harrison Ford.
Didn't Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck jumped in there.
Chris Pine.
Okay. And now John Krasinski.
So that's 5.
Yeah.
I think there's 5 different.
That'll be it.
Okay. All right.
Seemed like there was more.
Maybe there's
I feel like there's a couple dozen more in there.
I'm sure somebody else has got some more. All right. Last couple of things here we wanted to get to before we kind of wrap up the show, and just talking about new television series Star Trek Discovery that you're waiting for. Well, I will definitely watch it when it comes out.
Yes,
Then,
I will watch it too. And again, I don't mean to disparage it by saying the Orville is better than it because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I just am a little worried about this Discovery series.
Yeah.
From the trailer.
That's fair.
Maybe it will surprise me.
Well, a movie that's coming out March 16th of 2018 is going to be Tomb Raider getting the reboot. And this is with Alicia, I think I'm saying
Alicia
her name.
Vikander.
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
And she, So Alicia Vikander, I'll leave it at that.
Quite attractive.
She is quite attractive. And so she's going to be playing Lara Croft now. We got a trailer for it. It looks very Lara Crofty.
Yeah.
Very adventure. And she's on a boat in a storm, and then she has to jump, and of course she can jump really far, and there we go.
Yeah, she really can take air.
She can really jump. That Lara
She must be
Croft.
wearing Nike Airs.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
sure.
so this one is another unnecessary reboot, I suppose, but it's all, for me, this is all going to come down to the execution because you have a really good star. She's a fantastic actress. Anyone who's seen Ex Machina can attest to that.
Yep.
So I think this is really going to all come down to how they put it together. My guess is it's going to be middling at best, but I could be surprised. Maybe it'll be fantastic.
All right. Middling. That's a good word. That needs to be used more.
We'll have to see.
Good middling drop. All right. Finally.
Nice middling drop.
Solid. Finally, the one I wanted to bring up, and I actually just saw this trailer for the first time myself last night because I went and saw it for the first time. Great. It is fantastic.
Yep, we're seeing it tonight.
Shocking.
Very excited.
But this was one of the trailers that they showed before for Murder on the Orient Express, which is based on the Agatha Christie novel.
And talk about stars. Holy crap.
Yeah.
This could be really fun.
It is loaded. I mean, the whole thing's about a murder on the Orient Express train, and then all kinds of other things happen.
Yeah.
It's
For those who don't know.
Who done it? And things happen. But it's starring Kenneth Branagh. I think I'm saying his name correct.
Yep.
He's directing and starring it. But then also Johnny Depp, Judi Dench, Dame Judi
Yes.
Dench, Willem Dafoe, Penelope Cruz, Josh Gad, and a ton of other people.
There are probably 10 more that you would recognize if maybe their name didn't swing through.
Yeah.
There's a really nice cast going here.
It actually looks like a pretty exciting movie. It looks like it's going to be a good action.
Yeah, it just
mystery.
looks like it's well made. I mean, it's that gorgeous filmmaking that you want.
Scenic views as the train's traveling.
Absolutely.
Around. Yeah, so that's Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, if they can keep it moving, that should be a good one.
It should indeed. All right, I think we'll probably wrap it up here. I mean, just to just bring it back in with the television series that you're watching. I've got some good suggestions in here. I do want to check out Lucifer, but since you've already kind of, I think, laid out what I'm going to be watching now for the next couple of weeks.
That's what you are going to be watching. I've actually queued it up for you.
Thank you. I have no choice. I will be here all weekend watching through these.
That's correct.
So, the Orville, the Deuce, and then
American Vandal.
Yeah, American Vandal.
And I can't. American Vandal will. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You won't cry, but it'll really
Don't
get
tempt
you.
me.
Be careful with that one because you might ruin your weekend sitting there watching it.
Okay. All right. If it's that good, yeah, I
It's
definitely
just
want to.
it'll suck you in.
All
It'll
right.
definitely suck you in.
Well, there we go. This is, again, Between the Streams. And this is our live show that we do. It's a podcast as well. And we do this every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time live on Facebook and YouTube. And we love to have interaction, love your feedback, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today, too, and giving us your comments and your television series that you're watching and everything else that we're talking about. But you can also email us, podcast@digitaltrends.com, and let us know if you have a TV series you think needs to be watched and we should be talking about it so it doesn't end up getting canceled or something because nobody's watching it. Let us know. Send us an email and let us know about that. And then subscribe to the podcast. The
Check
audio
it out.
version.
Take her along.
Yeah. Just bring us on the road with you.
That's right.
Right here. We'll get real close to the microphones and talk really close
It's
to
going to be very, very exciting.
Or we won't do that if you don't want that. So whatever you want. But, all right.
Send the emails. We'll tool it around.
You tell us. All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great weekend. And we'll be back next week with another episode.